Hey, this is Overpass Insights. My name is Eric and I make apps. Now today, if you want to get good at something, you have to be willing to be bad at it. Alright, so I started doing videos around 2013 or 2014. Now back then, my whole thing was I just want to get over that fear of being in front of the camera, of putting myself out there. Like I talk to a lot of people who talk to me about YouTube channels and they say the same thing. It's like, it's that fear of actually getting out there. Like once they turn on the camera, they get all weird and fidgety and everything like that, which is totally what I did, right? I was just really, really bad at it in the beginning, but I thought I just power through it. It's that saying, like if there's something you really want to do, you have to be willing to do it badly, right? You have to just be, willing to just power through it, right? At some point, you know that you suck. Other people might even say you suck at it, but you're either going to be somebody who says, yeah, I'm just not cut out for this, or okay, I'm going to keep doing it. I'm going to keep putting the reps in until I can learn how to do it, right? Until it does become part of me, right? It's always, when you start, it's always like, I always think it's like a software problem or a hardware problem. A software problem is mental, right? It's like, it's whatever's installed. Like there's something in here that I'm just not getting. A hardware problem is like physically incapable of doing it. And over the years, I've had people tell me they just don't have the brain for it. They don't have the mind for it. And I call BS on it every single time. It's like, you're just not putting the reps in. You're not learning it. So over the years of the channel, I've talked to like, hundreds, thousands of developers, and it's been so much fun. I'm so glad I powered through on it. But one question I get a lot is it still worth doing? Is it still worth being an Android developer in 2022? Is it still worth being an iOS developer? Is it still worth, is it still worth whatever? And I'm like, and the question always throws me, like, what do you mean, is it worth it? Right? Because the supposition is it easy like it used to be? Is because now it's crowded, now it's difficult, now it's whatever, but if I should have done it, I should have done it back then. And we don't say that about other professions, right? We don't say that like, is it still worth being an electrician, or is it still worth being a mechanic? Is it still worth being a doctor, right? Now, job markets may fluctuate, but a lot of the times, by the time you get really good at something, the job market's going to move on anyway. You can't say what's popular now, I'll jump into it because everyone else is doing the same thing. What you really should do is do the thing that you love and push through until you actually get good at it. I think one of the things I feel a bit guilty about with this channel, especially when I do my revenue reports or I talk about the fact that my degree was not in computer science, my degree was in history, and then I was really struggling to find something else, is that one of the things that I feel like I'm guilty of is that I maybe make it sound too easy. Like, like anybody can get into software, which is true, by the way. I think anybody can get into software, anybody can get good at it. But here's the thing, so very few people do. A lot of people are just looking for the shortcuts, which is why it's hard to hire people. Because some people are just looking for the shortcuts, they just want to do what's necessary, right? And then there's other people who are really, really, like they press through. They're always learning. They're always getting good at it. So when I started out, it was with Visual Basic, which is, like if you know anything about software development, it was like not that much of an impressive language. And it suffered from the stigma of anybody could just open up an IDE and start dragging and dropping things and saying, hey, I made an application, where really you had other people who were like really good at the code, writing really well-structured code and really object-oriented kind of things, but the language still had that stigma. But learning that made everything else more difficult. Like I can remember struggling with those books. It was hard. I remember I would check out books. It's weird when you say you're self-taught because I learned from books, right? I would check out books from the library and I would read those things cover to cover on these long train journeys into work. It was just like, and there were times when things were just conceptually out of reach. And I can remember times I wanted to quit just thinking, maybe I just don't have the brain for this, because we assume it should be easy, right? We assume the people who made it to the mountaintop had no struggle getting up there. We assume that everything was easy along the way, right? But when you talk to like seasoned software developers or app developers, they will tell you about the times that they wanted to give up towards the end, or the times that they were like, they run into a little problem and thought, it's just not working, I just give up, right? And it's the people who just, maybe you take a couple days off, maybe you take a couple months off, but you pick it back up again and think, okay, this is not a software problem. meaning mental. This is not a hardware problem, meaning I'm not physically capable. This is a software problem, right? I just need to get over this mentally, right? Hard work is a barrier to entry to get really good at this, to get highly paid at this. But for the most of the time, it's worth it, right? But you gotta look at not only your technical skills, but your marketing skills. You talk about marketing your applications, marketing your software, yeah, of course, but also marketing yourself as a software developer. And that's always, I know so many people who are so much smarter than me, so much better at software than me, and I was getting paid more than them because I was just a little bit better at the softer skills. Anyway, my point in the video when I started rambling on about this was, it's gonna be hard. And just because it gets hard, don't give up because you thought it was gonna be easier than it is, right? This is like, anybody can get into this field, but very few people get good at it because most people give up along the way. Let me know if you disagree with me on that. I hope you guys are having a healthy, I hope you guys are healthy and safe. I hope you're having a great day. Thanks for liking and subscribing. I hope to see you guys on the next live stream, and I'll talk to you next time.